it's like I gotta change. I've been changing my mindset a lot because I see the way that the world is going. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should get out here, speak or say something.
Well, I'm happy that you're doing things differently. So,
Hmm. What health? I mean, what's going on in the black community, or why people are so scared because of what Trump is doing? I mean, or different things that the government is doing that I don't trust. But to me, I ain't scared of it because it's like I already know what's about to happen and everything else that's going on. And even some things I don't know that's gonna happen, I'm still not scared about it.
nice.
And I was gonna make a post the I think yesterday because I had saw this post here in Detroit that the Detroit area is leading in the nation as the top STI city, sexual transmitted infections. So Detroit is at the top of the list inside of our country. I just want to talk about that. Like, I was gonna make a post about that because I'm not surprised about it because the way people out here in Detroit move, but it's like in a way we shouldn't be at the top of the list, but we are though.
I actually did post something like that on my page, but it's crazy. Like, it's so many people that saw the post, but it's
Hmm.
like I didn't really give any kind of context to the post. So I think people was just like they didn't know what to do with it. But I post a lot of informational things.
Okay, that's so. What was some of the information things you post on there?
Well, honestly, like I didn't put any context because I feel like the post said it all. Like it's just kind of like a fact. It's kind of like, well, I wouldn't say a fact, but it's kind of just like, okay, let's take this information and, I'm just putting it out there. That's really all I was doing because I feel like people, they don't even think about that.
No, I don't. But here's my thing, right? So back a couple of years ago, like I was really just out here dating. Like I'll meet a girl that casual date. I'll take them out to eat, all that. Sometimes it'll be a casual hookup, but it's like before I would sleep with these women or even girls I haven't slept with, I'll have these conversations with them. Like the conversation of sex always comes up no matter what. So one thing that girls tell me is they don't like using protection. And to me, that's a problem because if I just met you and you out here doing casual hookup, and you're not using protection, then it's like you could catch something. And a lot of people our age don't believe like, oh, this person might have something or that person might have something. Because even when I told that girl, this one girl that she's like, oh, you messing with girls that got STDs. I'm like, no, I'm like, you should just always be cautious of that. Like you never know who got something. And I said, like, to be truthfully honest, like before you even, sleep with somebody unprotected, you should always go get tested. And I even told this one girl, like, I get tested every other month just to make sure I'm still clean. And she looked at me like I was crazy. But the thing is, in this day and age, like, people aren't getting tested and they ain't wearing protection. Like I be telling women, I'm like, when it comes to y'all dating, y'all got the power over y'all body for real. Like, if you tell a man to put on a condom just so he could have sex with you, he gonna put the condom on. You gonna go to the store or a gas station and go get one if you ain't got none, just because that's your rule.
Not all of them.
Look, some of them will. Look, I know I will. A girl tell me, look, if, but I keep them on me. So
Speaking of, some people feel like part part of it is make believe.
what the whole thing about condoms?
Yeah.
What that you can get something even while wearing a condom?
Mhm.
I don't know, cause when I was talking to, I had a when I had an appointment with a doctor, right? He was telling me how like he's kind of proud of me that I'm coming in here to get tested and everything. He was like, because a lot of young people they don't do that, and he was like, the problem is a lot of young people don't wear condoms. And this is what the black doctor told me. He like, a lot of times he was like, you could prevent a lot of these infections. He's like, the young people can prevent a lot of infections if they just wore condoms. And don't get me wrong, condoms aren't 100%, but they do work most of the time. But also, it also boils down to what you do after sex. Like a doctor also told me that you must pee after sex to get out the bacteria from the other person because every person carries their own bacteria.
Do you believe everything the doctor says?
I don't believe everything the doctor says, to be truthfully honest, right? When it comes to certain things with the hospitals and doctors, it's like I only believe about probably like 20% of the things that they say. But 80% of the things they tell us, no, I don't believe. And then another thing is I do my own research and stuff. But and reasons why I don't trust doctors is because like between friends and family, every time they go to the doctor and it's dealing with something big, their situation always end up worse. Or with my experience when I would go to the emergency room just because, something had happened, all they want to do is give me a pill. I tell them exactly what I need and exactly what I need them to do, and they still just trying to give me a pill. But I don't need the pill because medication don't work for me.
Mm.
Hey, one time I had to go to the emergency room because this glass had dropped on my foot and a bunch of blood was just stuck inside of my big toe. And I needed them to just like get this heated needle just to release the blood, but they kept trying to give me a pill. And I'm like, I know exactly what we need to do. Like, y'all need to release the blood from my foot. And they end up doing it, but it's like they still kept trying to push that pill on me because, the hospitals are funded by the pharmaceutical companies, which the pharmaceutical companies are killing more people than ever.
What's something that has happened recently in your life that has made you smile?
That made me smile. I mean, it's like I'll be laughing at stuff, but just on the regular, but something that just made me smile out of nowhere. I don't know. It's like I'm thankful for a lot of stuff, but it's like it's nothing that just made me just something that somebody did just made me smile or anything.
What's your philosophy on your belief system when it comes to religion?
Okay, so here's my thing about religion, right?
Give
So,
me the light version.
okay, religion is man-made. I don't believe that religion is good for me. It could be good for everybody else, but I do believe in the Bible. I believe that the Bible is a book on how we are supposed to live our life. I just don't trust religion.
Okay. And then I wanted to ask you, how much time do you have?
Man, I got a nice amount of time right now, only because I got to be to work till 1 p.m. tomorrow. So, yeah, I got some time right now. And I just kind of woke up anyway. So,
How has this past year been for you?
ooh, okay. So, you talking about 2024, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, 2024 been a roller coaster because, like, from 2023 to 2024 in April, I was helping my sister battle cancer, and this is my little sister too, but she ended up passing away in April. So, hey, that was tough. It was a roller coaster, and like I said, that's one of the reasons I don't trust the hospital. And then right after that, I had got into a relationship that only lasted for about 4 months. So, it's been a roller coaster this year.
Are you over the relationship?
Yeah, I'm over it.
How did you get there? How did you get over it?
Well, I was angry about it at first, but then it's like, you know what? I gotta forgive and forget about it. I said I do read the Bible, and that's one of the ways I got over it. Like the only reason I'm posting stories about it on my Instagram is because, say, like sometime last month, she had went off on me about certain stuff, and I'm like, okay, since you want to go off on me about this and that, I'm like, let me tell my side of the story so everybody can know what happened.
So speaking of, one thing you told me was like, you know, you kind of wanted to wait to do this because you kind of felt like you wanted to get certain things in order. What
Hmm
what is what you wanted to get in order?
Well, one, I wanted to have the time to do stuff, and then one, I had to get my mind in order because, like I said, last few years it's just been all over the place. You know, helping my sister and then helping other people as well. So that was one thing, and then like I just needed more to learn about. That's really it.
So what made you decide, like you said when we first got on here, what made you just decide to go ahead and take that leap into like doing this and just living life a little bit differently?
Because when I had did this thing called the yearly audit, to where you write down things that you liked about last year, things that you didn't like about last year, and things that you want to start doing. So one of my things is I'm like, I do want to give out more information to people more, because I do know a lot of things that could help people, especially with health, because the whole thing I see in the world is that everybody want affordable health care. And the thing is, it's like, okay, you want affordable health care, but y'all out here doing all the wrong things to better your health. Like people still eat fast food, people ain't eating enough fruits and vegetables, people ain't taking the right vitamins. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should talk to people about some things and help them in a way.
Do you have any questions for me so far?
Um, well, what are your beliefs, like religious beliefs?
I believe the same thing you believe, but I would add, for me, I don't really be caring all the way. Like, that might sound bad to some people because I guess I'm supposed to be more caring, but
Mhm.
like, I kind of just do what works for me.
Mhm.
And I heard somebody say that before, and it did kind of make me a little bit annoyed because it's kind of like, do you care about what other people believe? But I started to realize, like, you sometimes you kind of gotta just live for yourself, because living and trying to care about how other people living and stuff, I think that's what started giving mental health issues.
Yeah, see, the thing is, like, you don't want to care what anybody else think. The only person or you should care about what somebody think is what you think about yourself and what God thinks about you. That's how I look at things. The only thing that's important is what I think about myself and what God think about myself. So it's like, if I feel like I need to change or do some change, shoot, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I think the rough thing for me is like those people that are tough nuts, or people that kind of like look at you some type of way when you, I think, and I'm not going to exclude myself because before, like a while ago, I would look at certain people and be like, wow, that's different. But I think I was not as judgmental as some people. I feel like some people, they literally, it annoys them when you, like, it's so real when people say it annoy people when you like living, doing your own thing. Like, it is so weird.
Yeah, it is weird. It's like, in a way, I kind of blame our education system and our government.
Yes.
It's like people just don't get it. Like, first of all, you can't control nobody else. Like, if you know it's hard to control yourself, what makes you think it's gonna be easier for you to control somebody else? Like, if people really think about it, and this all goes back to the Bible too. Like, God gave everybody free will. So I'm not supposed to always want to do what you want to do or have the same mindset that you have. Look, we're all different.
I mean, I said yes about education on
Mm-hmm.
my end, but I think that I also like how you do have a lot of knowledge. I can tell from just these couple of minutes. Like you do have some information. So
Yeah,
I would say that.
yeah. A lot of times I do keep quiet because I'm like, I don't want to offend people, but I'm like the way that we moving. I'm like, if I don't say nothing, then I mean, people just gonna keep getting hurt doing stupid things.
Yeah, but from what I've been posting, like literally that post that I told you about, that I posted about, I had, well, in that case, it was STD. I took it down because it's like I see like people just looking at it, but I know they're not doing what they need to do with the information. So it pisses me off.
Look, I want to care. I'm like, well, look, at least I made y'all aware. But yeah,
Right, you did your part.
yeah. But like I said, like I'm gonna talk about it because I'm like, I already know what the problem is just from some years ago. Like you tell people nowadays, oh, I use protection. They be like, what, man? If you don't grow up and start doing wrong, but that's how the world think. Like this is where we at in the world now. Like people don't believe in protection or getting tested. And another thing is, like one thing that I had learned recently is like if you don't build your immune system up, like it's easier for you to get any type of infection, even if it's a sickness or a sexual transmitted disease, anything. Like if you don't build that immune system up, and a lot of people aren't building their immune system up, but if you don't build it up, it's going to be easier for you to get these sexual transmitted diseases or any other disease.
You care about Zodiac?
I mean, not really. Like, to be truthfully honest, like I don't like look into it for real. But one of my friends, she do, and every time she says something about a zodiac or a person I'm dating, usually she's always right.
What's your sign?
I'm an Aquarius.
Okay.
What
So
about you?
I am Cancer.
Okay, haven't heard too much about cancers, but I will say I will never date a Capricorn again.
You just putting that out there.
Look, I dated about 5 Capricorns in my life. And like after the first 2 times I did, I tried to avoid them, and then somehow I just kept ending up with them. And like I was surprised, but I'm like something wrong with Capricorn.
I'm, I'm, I should be laughing, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of understand where you coming from, but I don't want to offend nobody. So you know how that goes.
Look, I offend everybody when I say it. They be like, "What?" Because like I said, I was out on this date with this one girl, and I didn't even bring up the sign stuff. She did. She was like, "Yeah, I'm a Capricorn." I said, "What?" She was like, "Why you say it like that?" I'm like, "Look, I done had troubles with Capricorns, so I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I ain't gonna judge you or condemn you or anything like that. We gonna have fun.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna forget about it." But in the back of my mind, I'm like, let me keep my eyes open. Keep my eyes weird over this.
I still love Capricorn. Like I'm a lover person in general, but I still like I'm kind of like you. Like I have my reservations, but at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I can't sit here and say like, "Oh, Capricorns." Like I can't just sit here and be like, it just bash them all the way. Cause my granny is a Capricorn, so I love my granny. So I can't say that because especially if I like the people that I know who are Capricorn, I would not want them to watch this and be like, "Oh, that's how you feel."
No, it's cool because like I said, I know some people like I had friends that are Capricorns and they be talking mess about me because how I feel about Capricorns. But we all just be playing like, yeah, I'll be friends with a Capricorn, but to date Capricorns, I don't think my son and they son. That's all I'm saying.
You know, we still have more life to live, so
You
maybe
you right there. Maybe I might run into one and it might work out to my surprise.
positive thinking.
Mm. I like to turn my negatives to positives. I believe in doing that.
But yeah, so another conversation we kind of had briefly was like, I don't know what you had posted, but we was talking about hurricanes, underwater things. You was
Mhm.
talking about stuff like that. So, I mean, any update on that stuff?
So I mean, so lately I've been watching stuff and reading certain stuff. Like so many people been bringing out about things that happened in Noah's Ark in the book of Enoch, which in some ways it do make a lot of sense. But it's like me, I'm the type of person who's like some things I won't believe it until I see it, but some things if I read about it, then I'll believe it too. So one of the things that they brought out was okay when God brought the flood. He had killed the Nephilim and the other giants that were produced by angels and human women, and also the human women who had sex with the angels were turned into these demonic sea creatures known as mermaids or sirens, whatever you want to call it. But also, what they were saying, what somebody said was that demons, they always want to go towards the water because also when in the Bible, when Jesus had cast the demons out of the man and they asked to go into the pigs, where the pigs go, the pigs went to the water. So the demons are hiding deep down in the water. So so some people are saying all this stuff that's going on with the aliens coming from the water is really demons. And then sometimes like they said, some of these hurricanes are coming from demons. And then I just had thought about it the other day because I'm like, God did say he's not going to destroy the world with another flood. But we are getting a lot of cities being destroyed by floods. This means it's probably not from God who's doing this.
Um, can you do you
But
feel like, hmm,
I said that's just my thoughts on it. It's like I'm not 100% sure. I still gotta do my research because like somebody had pointed out to me in the Bible that Jesus had rebuked I think one of the storms that was happening, and he said and somebody said why would Jesus rebuke something from God? I said that's a good point. And then somebody said the reason why Jesus walked on water is to show that he had dominion over the sea and over the demons that live in the sea. So that's also a good point too. But like I said, I need to do more research on that.
do you know what sapiosexual is?
Sapiosexual. It's like I heard that term once, but what is that like when you're attracted to somebody because like they're smart or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So is that what you are?
Mm. No.
Okay. So to me, all these new terms, it's like I don't really subscribe to them. To me, it's just like either straight or you're homosexual. That's
That's very interesting to hear, being that you're so open minded when it comes to everything else.
the only reason why I think like that is because it's like to me, it's like I feel like they just want to put a label on everything. And I don't think we need a label for, these type of things that you like or who you are sexually. Like to me, like sexually, I'm a straight man. That's how that's how I look at myself. I'm like anything else, like how I seen on this dating app site they had autosexual, pansexual, all these other sexuals. I'm like, I can't really keep up or even care to keep up for real.
Would you like to know my opinion?
Yeah, what's your opinion on it?
I definitely have felt the way you have felt, and I'm a very understanding person, so I kind of like, sometimes I feel like I'm a translator for different people at
Mm-hmm.
times, but I kind of felt that way until I started having some of my own epiphanies and
Mm-hmm.
awakenings and things of that nature. So once it hit home, like I feel like that's even with mental health. Like once stuff start hitting home, then it's
Yeah.
like okay, now once people have to go to the hospital for their health, now they want to start eating healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of those things. But I think everybody has a right to their opinion
Mm-hmm.
and how they feel. But I will say, for me, I started to like really start to at least be a little bit more open minded in that area because start hitting home.
Yeah, I mean, I get it because like, look, we got people in our family who subscribe to that, and the thing is, you don't want to hurt them either, or you don't want to like, hurt anybody you care about. So, man, I understand that. Like, I don't put people down for the labels. Like I said, it's just like me personally. It's like I don't care for the label. I'm like, I'm not going to judge or condemn anybody for what their sexual label is unless they're a pedophile. But other than that, like I'm not gonna condemn anybody or judge you just because you're a pansexual or you're an autosexual or sexual. Um, yeah, I ain't here to judge or condemn nobody for that.
I believe that to a certain degree, sometimes having categories and names, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't always mean it has to be a label, but sometimes it just helps people understand themselves a little bit better.
Okay. But I do agree that people do need to understand themselves more because I feel like that's probably one of the reasons why we got so much, mental health or, crash outs that are going on out here today is because a lot of people aren't sitting down and taking a look within to understand who they are as a person. Like I've been hearing for the longest time, even since I was a kid, the problem with men today is that men don't know who they are. And when I say men, I'm really talking about everybody, but I've been hearing that for the longest time, and especially black people. They've been saying, okay, black people really don't know who they are. And that's one of the problems we have today because if you know who you are, like there's certain things that you will tolerate and you won't tolerate. And if you know who you are, you'll walk a certain way, you'll carry yourself a different way if you know who you are.
Correct. So it's like I think that's what life is about, knowing who you are. Like one day you might not be the same person you used to be. Sometimes life is about learning who you are tomorrow. I don't know. That's just how I feel. But like
Mm-hmm.
you also have like a core. You may have like a core, something that's like, okay, this is who you're gonna be and this is just like how you are. I feel like, but yeah, I think it's information too because okay, when we have these conversations, I think it goes just as STI post or information because that like they say sometimes when we don't really have a lot of information about something, we're very, very quick to be like shun the information almost
Mm-hmm.
as if it's not even information. But then when it hits home, now we trying to scratch up and do some research about what we need to know.
Mm.
So I would say for me, but it's still
That's like
hard.
that saying, stay ready so you won't have to get ready.
Literally, like I think that sometimes the more sensitive it is, or sometimes certain trauma, or sometimes it's just we feel like, I don't need to know that information. It has nothing to do with me until it hits home again. And even if it doesn't hit home, if you have some type of compassion, I think that it's just good conversation too, because sometimes, I mean, like in my instance, I think that I'm still learning because I posted something about that too. Took it down. I kept some of it up, but I didn't keep everything up.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like I'm still learning, but it's also kind of like people not being open to that learning. So like how can you learn who I am if you don't even want to look at the information? Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. But one thing I have learned is like, even if you don't get the reaction that you want from some of the posts that you post, no matter what, leave it up there and just keep posting because maybe the right people haven't seen it yet. And all it takes is for you to just keep posting, and then some people will go to some of your older posts and be like, dang, this person was really on to something.
that's true, cause like sometimes even for me, like sometimes I look at a post and be like, I don't understand that. Then later I look up like, oh yeah, I understand that now.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like sometimes, like let's just use this as an example. Like the fact that I know that you may not know as much about that area of conversation, I think that sometimes makes me feel like, oh, do I want to share this information with you, or do I want to hide this information from you?
Like I said, like that's why, like I said, like this year I'm gonna start posting more because like there are some things that I haven't been posting or sharing because I feel like people might look at me differently, or they might not accept the information that I'm putting out.
Mm-hmm.
Just like there are stuff that I didn't accept at first or I didn't understand at first. So it's like I didn't continue looking at things. But it's like when you want to grow and you start to just start seeing different things, it's like you'll go back to different videos or back to different posts because like you saw it once and it's like in a way you remember it. It's in the back of your mind, but it's like once you remember something and you want to start changing, you're gonna go back to that post and read it again, or you're gonna, start learning things along the lines of that post.
Do you feel like people are afraid to be open minded?
Oh yeah, I think today a lot of people are afraid to be open minded because the thing is today is like, okay, a lot of people don't want to be shunned or they don't want to be canceled. I don't know if cancel culture is still a thing, but you got people who don't want to be canceled, or you just got people who don't want to hurt other people's feelings. So it's like people aren't as open about having certain conversations when it comes to things, but people are okay with posting stupid stuff online, but not okay about posting, stuff that could open your mind online.
I mean, I think I saw this. I don't know, it's the kind of saying, but like the sayings be helping me through my life. That's kind of why I do share certain things, but it's kind of like you really only gonna reach a certain percent of people sometimes. That's why I just got to the point. Like everybody, if we depend on everybody to give us the answers to life, oh no.
Oh no, you can't depend on everybody to give you the answer to life. Like to me personally, I believe like you gotta depend on God and yourself. Like I said, the Bible is already a book there to teach us how to live our life, right? But after the Bible, there are so many other things you need to learn. Like, in the Bible, it tells you what foods to eat and what not to eat. Okay, after you learn that, you need to get out here and start reading about good foods that can help build your body up and keep your immune system strong. Also, you need to read books on how to become financially stable and not depend on a job. Like that's where I'm heading towards life. So like, yeah, I do a lot of studying on health, a lot of studying on money and finances, and then, like I said, also a lot of studying on the Bible because that's how you're gonna live your life successfully, really.
I won't even use Jesus as an example, but I just knew like about not depending. What I kind of mean by that, not for you, but like for the people who may listen to this, I have permission to post this.
Yeah.
I think that like let's take just a group for example, a group of 5 people, and then you got one person. Let's say the question is asked, what's 2 plus 2? Of course, I'm not going, deep into it. I'm just saying on some regular shit. 2
Hmm.
plus 2 is 4. So let's say the group of 5 be like, oh yeah, we feel like the answer is 5, and then one person feel like the answer is 4. The one person was right. So all you motherfuckers that be thinking that, it's like that's when I learned like, yeah, I'm not gonna reach everybody.
No, but you real reach the right peoples, because one thing I learned is like, some stuff that you post or some things that people post for the good, it's not really for everybody. It's for people who want it and people who need it. It ain't for everybody, and then at the time it's not for certain people, but at a different time it might be for them because they're looking for it.
But I will say to think a little bit more positive. Sometimes they say one man can change the world. It be like that.
Hmm. Look, there are certain men who were around in different times that have came and made some changes in the world. Like we already know, you got you know, Dr. Martin Luther King. You hear about Gandhi. Sometimes you hear about things that Dr. Sebi were doing. There are men out here. There's many more men than them, but it's many more men in history that have put out things that were starting to wake people up and see things differently.
One person can change the world. One animal can change the world. But are there any dangers to being open minded?
Dangerous. Well, one thing about being open minded is you gotta be careful with certain things that you say. It's like not because you're gonna offend people, because when you're telling too much of the truth, that's when the big boy is gonna start coming after you or start saying certain things to you. Like I learned this one guy, he had came out and he said that, the part of the government were trying to sue him and come after him because he was making claims that this is going to help cure this disease and that disease. And what he was saying is, you can't say the name of that disease is because our government made up these words for these diseases. So all you could say is like, oh, this could help improve your heart or this could help improve your lungs. Like you can't say it's gonna help cure a disease because when you start, doing all this other stuff, like, okay, yeah, the big people are gonna come after you.
Any more questions for me?
Okay, like, so what's your whole thing on life? Like, what what helps you keep what makes you want to get up in the morning and just, get life going?
Mm, I kind of just like to sell. And I know some people feel like that's kind of like a lazy way to live life, but I promise you, sometimes selling will take you somewhere you be excited as hell.
No, I ain't that. Well, I used to, get on canoes and stuff like that. Like, okay, so so here's a crazy story, right? So back when I think I was around the age of 12, I believe. Around the age of 12, and me and my family, we had went canoeing. I believe we went canoeing in Kentucky because we were on this cabin trip. So we had went canoeing, and we're in the deep waters where there are waterfalls and everything. And as we getting close to the waterfall, like I make a mistake and I stand up and our boat flip over. So now me and my brother and my dad, we're just all in the water, scattered. My dad, he grabbed me and my little brother and he throw us to the shore or the edge where the grass was at. And then he grabbed his camera and everything. But it's like for a while that scared me. But then as I got older, it's like I kind of started enjoying the excitement of being on the water.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do like being on the water and sailing or canoeing, whatever you can do when you're on the water.
Well, that's it. That's all I want to talk about.
Okay. Well, I mean, shoot, I guess let me know when you want to do this again or talk about something else.
Okay.
All right. It's been cool talking with you.
Same. I can't wait to listen to this back.